Hi, I'm Warren Eckstein. Today we're going to take a look at how to build the perfect cat house. Why is that so important? You know, years ago when I was growing up, people would let their cats run outside. Everyone had a cat that was inside once in a while, outside once in a while. But let me just give you one major reason why you should keep your cats indoors, and I'm going to tell you how to do it. Most importantly, the average lifespan of an outdoor cat is 5 years. The average lifespan of an indoor cat is between 12 and 14 years. So the choice is yours. It's way, way too dangerous nowadays to let your cats outside. Why? Diseases, feline AIDS out there, being attacked by dogs, being hit by cars, coyotes. There are so many dangers out there for cats nowadays that if you want your cat to have a long, healthy, happy life, it's real important to bring them inside. So what's the problem? Why can't I just bring my cat inside, put him down and say, here, this is your new home? The reason for that is cats are nomadic by nature. What does that mean? In the environment, they love changes, so they go from here to there to there to there. But yet in the home, everything is the same day in and day out. Let's face it, if I had to stay at home watching General Hospital every day, I'd chew the couch apart and scratch it. So the bottom line is, how do we make the indoors outdoor interesting? That's exactly what we're going to talk about today. I have some kittens with me to demonstrate. And with me I also have two friends. I have Susan Ellison and I also have Georgine Lalone with me. And they run Precious Paws, which is a great organization here in Southern California. And these are kittens that are actually up for adoption, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so if you're thinking about one. Anyway, let's talk about the concept of outdoor cats, because you guys do a lot of outdoor rescue as well. And you see cats come in that may have been beaten up and with disease. What do you think is the biggest problem that cats have to face living outdoors?
Well, where I live, it's coyotes.
Coyotes, yeah.
Yeah, and then they're no match for coyotes.
And you know, it used to be a minor problem with coyotes, but now coyotes have spread all over the United States, so pretty much no matter where you live, your cat's going to face them from time to time. Yeah,
and you know, the coyotes have a right to life too, and they have to eat, and unfortunately they can eat our friends. But yeah, there's so many dangers out there. You mentioned disease. That's a big thing. You know, getting ticks and fleas and such outdoors.
Fleas and ticks, internal parasites, external parasites, and constantly when a cat lives outdoors, you know, cats are very territorial. So when a cat lives outside, it is constantly battling for its territory. So it never has the opportunity just to kick back and relax. However, there are times when you can watch a cat outside and it's almost like they go into a state of kitty nirvana. They're rolling around in the flowers, or they're rolling around in the grass. So how can we bring that inside? Do we grow a lawn in the middle of our house? I don't think that's going to work. So how do we make the indoors really interesting? One of the things I often recommend to people is they'll go out and they'll go to the pet store and they'll buy a scratching post just like this, okay? Really nice scratching post, and you put some catnip on it and you show the cat, scratch on the post, good kitty. Bottom line is, after a day or two, that's the same scratching post. Boring. So what I recommend people do is they change the environment. Does that mean you have to spend your entire salary on posts? No, that means you can go any supermarket, any liquor store, the choice is yours, guys, and you can get yourself these cardboard boxes. Now, what I try to do with cardboard boxes is be a little creative. So I'll take a cardboard box just like this, a plain old cardboard box, and what I'll do is I'll put some catnip on the box, I'll put one box on top of another box, and I'll make like a little kitty condo, a duplex for them. I'll cut holes in the boxes. So the bottom line is, boxes are free. So that means you can change every single day. So there's always something new coming into the house. Now, why is a box better than this? Because every day, this smells the same. Cardboard boxes, oh, they're coming from the supermarket. Today they smell like watermelons. Tomorrow they smell like chickens. The next day they smell like tangerines. So bringing those cardboard boxes in the house is really, really, really important. And making those changes are important. But what about growing things for your cat?
I'm into it. I have kitty greenery. In fact, the watering station that I have for the cats, I have like a little fountain, and they make a trough so you can grow kitty grass hydroponically.
Hydroponic kitty grass, that's it. You know, it's interesting because you ever notice that when cats are in the wild, and I'm so glad you have that water fountain that moves, you ever notice when cats are in the wild and they drink water, they use their paw to get the water moving? The reason for that is stagnant water, from a cat's point of view, means that the water isn't fresh to drink. That's why so many people that have cats find their cats drinking from the faucets, but very rarely from the toilet. Well, the toilet's a whole different ballgame, Susan. Here's why cats like to drink from the toilet. The water in the toilet, not from personal experience, mind you, but the water in the toilet is the coldest water in the house. Porcelain keeps water the coldest. That's why dogs and cats are attracted to the toilet on a regular basis. But water moving means that it's safe to drink. So I always recommend that when people have a cat that's indoors now, they have one of those fountains that constantly circulates the water. Some of them are great now. They actually take some of the chemicals out of the water as well.
Yeah, they have filters. And it encourages the cat to drink more.
Exactly.
Which means, okay, you have a little bit more to clean in the litter box, but it's so much better for their kidneys and especially neutered males.
It is. They get crystals and all kinds of
Yeah.
blockage. So what happens if you had a cat now, your cat was outdoors its whole life, you now take your cat, you're bringing him indoors, of course he needs hugs and kisses first, but what if he doesn't want to use a litter box? That's a big problem. People say, well, you know, my cat doesn't use a litter box, he goes outside, he pees, he poops outside, what am I going to do? Here's what I recommend to people. Get a litter box, but don't put any litter in the litter box. Take some dirt and grass from outside, put that into the litter box, because that's what the cat's used to peeing and pooping on, then gradually start increasing a little bit of litter today, a little bit of litter tomorrow. The other thing people are not aware of is that cats really respond to noise. So when they're outside living in an outdoor environment, you know, there's Harley Davidson, there's trucks, there's, it stresses them out. Now, we all know that physiologically, stress really messes with our immune system and makes us much more susceptible to disease. Same thing happens to our cats. So what do I recommend in terms of making your cat into the perfect cat? You're right on target. You got that water bowl that moves. You're growing organic greens. Organic catnip is important. Other greens are important. Just make sure you check out online beforehand and make sure whatever plants you're using are non-toxic to your cats. That's really, really important. And if you're going to bring stuff from inside, for example, when I bring stuff for my cats to play with, I'll take like a log from out in the backyard and I might bring that in the house because they love to scratch on that log, but I'll make sure there's no pesticides on the log. It hasn't been sprayed by anything. The other thing, if you were to come into my house when I have cats, you'll notice that there's all kinds of things in high places. Cats love to be up here. Cats love, I think that's because they look down on us. You know? Look how stupid these people are. They're going to work and I'm hanging out. But cats like to look down. So it's really, really important to keep your cats in high locations. So what I do is I have rooms in my house and I take wood. You can buy them. They're available on the market. But I take wood and I build these little shelves so they can jump from one. You got the same thing?
Yeah, I call it decorating with cats.
That's exactly right. There's a white cat up here today, a black cat up here tomorrow. But it gives them the opportunity to get away. So the most important thing is that every couple of days you need to change the environment in the house. You need to bring those new boxes in. You need to bring paper bags. And by the way, if you're using paper bags, cut those handles off and no plastic. That's important. And speaking about plastic, cats love to chew on plastic because it has a chemical in it that attracts them. So here's where a product like this comes into play. I use this. There's a lot of bitter products on the market. It's not that I'm plugging bitter yuck, but the only reason I use this is it doesn't have any alcohol in it. And it's not because I'm afraid your cat's going to get drunk. It doesn't have a smell. So you can place it on things. For example, let's say you have a cat that's scratching something you don't want him to scratch. If you spritz a little bit of this on the area, let's say he was scratching the furniture. If I sprayed some of this on the area, he went to scratch it, then went to lick his paw off, he'd get that hideous taste in his mouth and learn that they may not be the place to go. What about countertops? See how you've learned something, right? Susan?
Yeah, I'm going to go out and...
What about countertops? How many times have we seen cats jumping up on countertops and they can burn themselves on the pots and pans, they can cut themselves, so how do you stop your cats?
You had one turn the stove on.
Did you really, Georgine? Actually turned your stove on?
Yeah.
Maybe he was hungry.
A few times.
Really? So how do you stop your cat from jumping up on the countertops? No. See, that's what everyone does. They get this water bottle. I've yet to see one cat pick up a water bottle and spray another cat to correct them. So what do I do?
Promotion.
Let me tell you how to do it. First of all, lots of times your cat's going to jump on top of your counters. You're not there. Well, because the water bottle going to do you then. You think cat's not smart enough to realize Georgine isn't home, I'm going to do this? So here's what I recommend. Take some double stick tape. You can buy it at any hardware store, right? You take the double stick tape, you put the double stick tape on top of the countertops, right? Then you go to the store and you buy some balloons. Why are you guys looking at me like I'm crazy?
No.
What am I going to do with these balloons? Well, you take these balloons, you blow them up, you put them on the double stick tape. The cat goes to walk on the countertop, and then he hits the balloon breaks. It's like God corrected him. He gets the idea. So once or twice, it can make all the difference in the world.
A lot cheaper than what I was.
And the other thing that's real, some cats don't like walking on cellophane, some cats don't like walking on tinfoil. So you got to kind of play a little bit. But the most important thing that you can do to keep your cats happy is just to keep them mentally stimulated. Now, all of my cats, in my book, How to Get Your Cat to Do What You Want, the first thing I did, and this book was written years ago, is I started teaching people how to teach their cats to walk on a leash and harness. And when I was promoting the book, I was doing the Tonight Show, I was doing the Letterman Show, and Letterman looked at me like I was crazy. Warren, you're going to teach a cat to walk on a leash and harness? What are you, nuts? And I said, watch. And why people assume that cats can't be trained absolutely amazes me. Cats are just as smart as dogs, if not smarter. Quite honestly, guys, I think cats convinced humans that they can't be trained just so we leave them alone, you know?
Yeah.
But the bottom line is cats get bored. So I'm a firm believer in obedience training. Have you heard the term obedience training for a cat?
Yep.
Teaching a cat to walk on a leash and harness. Now, by taking the time to do it, and you guys know this better than anyone, by taking the time to teach a cat to walk on a leash and harness, now you have a cat that you can take outside in a safe way, in a sensible way. And even more importantly, is as these things come up, and there's all these great cat toys on the market. I mean, there are toys like this, which I really recommend, interactive toys. Cats love to play with these type of things.
And I like to cycle them.
So you
like
just
put them away and bring out a fresh set.
That was my next point. I call it rotating the
Yeah.
toys. I do the same thing with dogs. Put down 6 toys
I did
on
with my
Tuesday, pick them up on Wednesday, put them down on Thursday. So you're constantly rotating the toys all the time.
Rotate cats?
We can rotate cats. We'll have swap cats. Oh, you want to play with this? Huh? You want to play with it? And sometimes, now this may sound a little eccentric, and heaven forbid that I should ever sound eccentric, but it's important that you actually spend time with your cats, teaching them what you do. You have to remember that cats are such small creatures, and here's why cats, you ever notice that cats respond better to women than men?
Yeah,
You know what the reason for that is?
we smell better.
No, not at all. The bottom line is that men have very strong hands. So when a man lifts a cat and they're holding a cat, their
Yeah.
hands are tight. I always kind of hold them loose, and I try to hold them from both ends, not from
Yeah.
the belly. The other thing that's important also is that we have a tendency to think cats can fall and survive. And people will drop their cat from this height. Never ever do that. So the reason they respond better to men is, first of all, the tone of voice is more maternal from a cat's point of view. Remember, the mother cleans it off when it's first born. And second of all, the hands aren't as strong. They're not hurting the cat as much. So for those people out there that have cats, the most important thing that they need to understand is life is boring for an indoor cat, but it doesn't have to be. If you take the time to make the indoors of your home as interesting as the outdoors by adding the toys, the cardboard boxes, things for them to crawl in and crawl out of. Why is this important? Cats need to get away from us once in a while. They need a place to hide, and they need a place of their own.
They're
one
tired
more-
of us.
They absolutely, we bore them. And the other thing that's real important as well
Need a buddy.
is people say to me, but my cat Warren, how many times have you guys heard this rescuing cats? My cat keeps me up all night long. What am I supposed to do? 3 o'clock in the morning, he's meowing, he's waking me up. It's driving me crazy, Warren. Cats are nocturnal by nature, which means they're nighttime animals. So what do? Do we have to change our careers, our jobs, and work the night shift? No. What we do is we change their time clock. So during the day, don't let them sleep 18 hours a day. Chase them around the house. Socialize them. You know, when you come to my house, and there's dogs and there's cats in my house, and you walk in, my cats and my dogs say, hi Susan, hi Georgine, they come right over to you. Yet so many people that have a cat that lives inside, when people come over, the cat runs the other way. That's because they haven't taken the time to socialize the cat. And that's real important. So what's the first thing I recommend to all you new cat owners out there? Forget about inviting friends over. Forget about that bridge party you're going to have. Invite cat lovers to your house. Tell them to wear their jeans. Bring them into your house. Go into a small room with the kitten or the cat. Get down on all fours. Put down a little bridge mix, except don't put down any chocolate or candy for yourself. I want like catnip and cat treats in there. Let the cats spend time with human beings at a level that they feel comfortable with, because so many times they're responding to these big giants. And how would you guys feel if everyone around you was 18 feet tall? You guys would panic as well. So it's important to spend time on your hands and knees. Now, here's the big question for you. You want to do the right thing. You don't want to go to a breeder and buy a cat. You want to save a cat's life. So you go to Precious Paws, you go to a shelter, Humane Society, a rescuer. What is the biggest problem that you have when people bring their cat into the house? It's generally scratching, isn't it? Scratching furniture, scratching walls. So again, if we add all of these items, and, you know, just to show you, I mean, I'm putting, this is called the cat in the box. I don't know how long she's going to stay there, but you can kind of see her playing around. If I had rubbed catnip on this box, and if I put holes in it, she would crawl out. And also, it's important for them to keep their nails trimmed. So what I recommend you do is go to the carpet store, but don't spend any money. Say, whatever remnants you guys have, I want them. Take those, look out, take those remnants of carpet and glue those to the box. But not with the pretty side out, the ugly, nappy side out.
Oh, yeah.
That's really what's going to sharpen the nails and keep the nails trimmed. And cats who have nails trimmed also don't scratch as much. And you know why cats scratch, right?
It's something about their length. I don't know. It's not just to sharpen the nails.
No, cats have scent pads on the
okay.
bottom of their feet. So when a cat goes over and a cat is actually doing this, they're actually putting their scent
They're marking?
in that area at the same place. It's just like, why do cats rub up against people? Can they itch that much where they have to constantly rub against you? Exactly, especially with the facial and the head. They have pheromones on top of their head and pheromones on the side of their faces. So when a cat comes over to you and rubs his chin, it usually means, hey, guess what, guys? I'm in charge, and they usually are anyway.
We just rescued a 3-week-old kitten. She did it. I mean, 3 weeks old. She rubbed her face up against my face.
Just to let you
She did this
know.
whole thing at 3 weeks.
So here's my recommendation for everyone, okay? I'm a big fan of living with cats. You don't own a cat, they own you. So let's start with that premise right off the bat, okay? Bottom line is, if you have a cat that keeps you up at night, you keep the cat up during the day, he'll sleep at night. If you have a cat that's doing something destructive, teach him right from wrong. That's important. And what about declawing? A lot of people that have outdoor cats, they want to bring them in the house, and the first thing they want to do is declaw the cat. Now, I don't know about you.
Amputating a child's feet to
Thank
keep them
you.
from running in the house.
Thank you. So here's how I approach it. People think it's just clipping nails, but it's actually taking your finger off at the first joint. Throws off their balance. Sometimes cats that are declawed become more aggressive, and they become very more oral and biting because they have no defenses, and God forbid they ever get outside. They have no way of defending themselves. So I am against declawing. In fact, not that I take a strong stance on it, but I really believe, and listen out there folks, that declawing should be made illegal in the United States. It's actually illegal in England, it's illegal in Germany, and it's illegal in many other countries, and should be made illegal here. For example, if you had a child that was knocking stuff off the table, what do? Do you break his arm and you teach him right from wrong?
Right.
Okay, so the bottom line, it's no different than our cat. Put the double stick tape, put the balloon, take an empty soda can, put 15 pennies in it, balance it on the edge. So when the cat jumps up again, the can falls down, making a noise.
Can of coins is a great thing
It
for
is.
teaching them not to bolt out the front door. And I gotta say something. Probably the best toy you can give your cat is another cat.
Absolutely
Buddy
right.
system.
Absolutely right. I always say this, there are times that men, it sounds chauvinistic, but there are times that men have to speak to other men, there are times that women have to speak to women, and there are times that Fluffy has to speak to Fluffy. I mean, they have their own language.
So many people believe that it's so much more work to have a second cat.
It's
It's
not.
Far
not
less
at all.
work.
It's a little more poop in a litter box,
Yeah,
right?
it's not at all.
One more
It's
thing
less
about
destructive.
indoors, guys, wires. Cats chewing wires. It's not just at the holiday season, but constantly, because the cats actually hear the current running through the wires and will chase it. They can bite the wire, and that can hurt them. Other thing that's really important is if you have a young kitten or cat in the house, I recommend baby-proof locks on all of your cabinets, because what's under the cabinet can be very dangerous for your pets as well. So the bottom line is, you can take an outdoor cat, spay and neuter, which is definitely the first thing you do, bring him indoors, socialize him, give him tremendous opportunity to play with as many toys as you can, change them on a regular basis, and now you'll have a buddy that's going to live for a long time, healthy and happy. I told you the difference is between 5 years and 14 years, and that makes all the difference in the world. But I also recommend, and this is important, when people are looking for a cat, this is what they're looking for. They want a kitten like this, and they're gorgeous, and they're beautiful, and they're lovable, and they're adorable, and you want to schmooze them, you want to take them home. Don't ever negate those older cats that are at the shelters, rescues, and humane societies. I am a firm believer that when you save an older cat's life, they know it, and they pay you back every single day for the rest of theirs. So, you're looking for a cat, you don't want to walk a dog after the 11 o'clock news, you want something that's a little less demanding, but something that's going to give you a tremendous amount of pleasure, cats are the way to go. Susan Olsen, by the way, for those people saying, I know that face, Susan Olsen. played Cindy on the Brady Bunch, and she now works with Georgine, doing a tremendous amount of rescuing with pets. And I'm so glad you dedicated your life, because there are a lot of people that talk the talk, but groups like yours really walk the walk, and that's really why I had you here today.
Thank
and
you.
makes all the difference in the world. So these kittens going to find a home now?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I hope everyone out there remembers this. You're thinking about a cat, and you want to have a cat, outdoors, unless you're going to take the time to teach them to walk on a leash and collar, is not the way to go. Leash and collar, I mean a leash and a harness. There are actually cat harnesses on the market.
No,
And
you
by
don't
the
want
way-
to collar because they can wiggle out.
Yes, and by the way, if you're going to get a collar, even inside for ID, make sure you get a breakaway collar. It has a little elastic on the inside so the cat can't get it caught. Cats make wonderful pets. They're just as smart as dogs. They're just as cute as dogs. So if you're thinking about a pet, or if you have a cat that's roaming outdoors, next time he comes in, close the door for good. He'll be a lot happier, he'll be a lot safer, and live a lot longer. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.